Shruti, you should rename yourself.
Yes, sir. So may I know where it is?
Pardon?
May I know where to rename?
Yeah, you have to just go and then there are 3 dots on the top, no? There you click, you will get rename.
Wait, sir. I'll end and I'll start or?
Not needed.
Okay, but
No, as you go up
on
your window, I mean, you have multiple windows
yeah,
seen on the screen, right? Like the names and all.
No, it's a speaker, gallery, and immersive.
Shruti, wait. Open that participants ka list.
Yeah.
Participant ka list pe click on your name. You will see 3 dots.
Yeah.
Usme hai,
Then
you have
rename.
Rename. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, the speaker will join the host, join the meeting sharp at 11 o'clock.
So she's from which place, Shruti?
So she is from Karnal, from Haryana.
Okay, so she practices in Karnal.
No, she practices in Delhi, Kolkata, and Gurgaon.
So her office is in Delhi.
Her office is in Gurgaon.
Gurgaon, okay. So from which college she graduated?
So I didn't ask those personal details, but
she did not send you her resume.
Resume she has sent that about all of the works. So
Okay.
it's mainly towards the professional works, and she is a content creator mainly.
Okay. Tejasvi, Preeti, please touch base with your friends, your classmates, ask them to join.
Yes, I texted in the group to join.
Yeah, speaker is here. Hi, Utsav. How are you?
Hi, Shruti. Very well. How are you?
I'm good too. Shall we start?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Good morning, Utsav.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. I'm always excited to talk to students.
Yes, yes. It will just wait 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So from where did you graduate, Utsav?
Okay, so I did my graduation from LPU in Punjab, and I did my post-graduation here in Delhi from Sushant.
Sushant. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just give me 1 second. I have
Yeah,
a call
please.
to take. All right. Sorry about that. Which year students do we have here?
Second, third, and fourth year.
Second, third, and fourth architecture.
Mm.
Right.
Maybe some of the final year students, they might join. They are in their practical training. So
Yeah.
we requested the officers to give permission to join. Let's see.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, the main intention is to tell all the students how you create a career for yourself as an architect.
Yeah, so today basically we're talking about internships.
Good.
So the idea behind doing this session, my idea was that first I wanted to sort of broaden students' horizon, that
Mhm.
how do they pursue internship, what do they need to look at while they
Yes.
pursue internship, because that is a very big first step
Yes.
towards what they want to become and how they want to give direction to their career.
Right.
So we're talking about a lot of things around internship, basically. I'm not talking about how do you make a portfolio. I am obviously giving some tips, but I'm majorly talking about how do you pursue internship.
Yes.
Yeah.
This series we have been doing for the last 2 years. So, and
Okay. I
so
was
we
not
had
aware of that.
4 to 5 international speakers also.
Wow, that's nice.
So just as a motivation to the students to know about what architects are pursuing. So,
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea because back in the day, things have changed a lot. The dynamics of architecture have changed a lot. There are not a lot of new things that an architect can pursue now.
yes.
Instead of just architecture, photography, writing, metaverse, AI, there's so much coming up. And there are so many options that were not there before.
Yeah, we had architectural photography, someone pursuing that career speak here.
Right.
Maybe
right.
if you can help us, we'll get one who is working in metaverse also.
Actually, yesterday only we launched an online course on metaverse on our platform. So
Okay.
we've been, we've been really packed the past previous month, and basically we're talking about how do you design, how do you build, how the 3D softwares work, how do companies work, who hire, who doesn't hire. In fact, the mentor who has created the course for us is also hiring people who do the course. So that is very interesting. So yeah, I can definitely recommend her if she.
Please. And someone who has a domain knowledge of AI in architecture. If someone is working in that area, no, let's
Yeah, even I'm looking for
actually
one.
yeah, touch base them, figure out, okay, what is the
Yeah.
scope?
Yeah. The scope is wonderful. I mean, yes, people are sort of worried that AI is going to take their jobs.
Hmm.
I absolutely don't think that AI is going to take their jobs, because I feel that when technology first came into this country, we were infants at the time. There
Hmm.
was the same propaganda going on ki technology will take away the jobs and stuff, but that did not happen.
Yeah.
It just made our jobs easier.
Hmm.
A lot of manual work was taken away. So from what I've studied so far on AI and metaverse, it is going to just make our work easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe we should collaborate with you on writing a white paper on AI in architecture. Huh? No, because that is one area that we all should be well aware.
Definitely. I think it's not going anywhere. And it is not the world that we know, but it is the world we are going to live in. And the sooner we pursue it, it is going to be better for us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And when we want, say, biomimicry and biophilic,
Yeah.
so maybe AI will be a good, what is a supplement, like help us in understanding biomimicry and biophilic.
I agree.
Biomimicry and biophilic are so complex.
I agree.
If you really try to understand, just copying is easier, but really understanding it thoroughly and then implementing it, maybe we need something which can, what is it, process it fast and effectively. Mm. I think we reached the what is it, brim 27. Generally, no, we are 30, 40, something like that.
Nahi hote.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know how many of these have just woken up.
That is the
I'm
reason
really
we have
curious
at
to know.
11 o'clock. They are
Yeah, guys, please, if
their
you can just do
coffee.
me a favor and just raise your hands, how many people have just woken up and joined this session? I know when I was a student, I've done this a lot. Zoom was not there at the time, but I've done this a lot. So I would really love to know. Does it like students do interact, or they are mostly just the listening kind of
Yeah,
audience?
like 2-3 students, they definitely ask questions.
Mhm.
But most of them are passive.
Mhm.
Somehow we are in the university, no, we see other students also, computer science, engineering. In the class, they are like this only. I don't know the reason. Because they assume that if they have a doubt, they can ask Google.
All right.
Yeah. Yes, Shruti, we'll start.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's start.
All
So-
right. I'll share my screen.
Wait,
Yeah,
sir.
no, we will just have some formalities.
All right. All right. Sure.
Formalities. She will hand over
Okay.
you, and then you can.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'll start. So
Yeah.
hello everyone. A very good morning to you all. Let me introduce myself, Assistant Professor Shruti Ji. Would like to welcome you all to the Geetham School of Architecture in the webinar series of 2023 on the theme of Successful Career in Architecture that has been organized by Geetham School of Architecture, Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam for the students of the architecture. So today's webinar speaker is Utsav Kamboj. So now I'll introduce the Professor G. Sunil Kumar sir, who is the director in the Geetham School of Architecture, Hyderabad, and my colleagues. Sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Shruti, and thank you, Utsav, for being here. And it's a great initiative that School of Architecture has taken for its students. And I'm very happy that you are on this platform, sharing your experience and guiding our students. In fact, we actually send this intimation to all the schools of architecture. So sometimes, students from other colleges also join. So we are just trying to create a platform wherein students of architecture can look upon how the careers are being made. And I'm very thankful to you, Utsav. And yeah, please, Shruti, you should introduce formally about Utsav, and then we can start off.
Yes, sure, sir. So now it's time to introduce architect Utsav Kamboj, who is the presenter of today's webinar. So Utsav Kamboj is from Karnal, the city in the Haryana state. Sorry. She is an architect, urban designer, educator who has been inspiring and educating budding architects and designers to start and expand their design businesses. She's also a co-founder of Upscale Architects in Gurugram, an architecture and interior design studio working on residential and retail projects at Kolkata, Delhi, and Gurugram. She is again a founder of Archea, which is India's first community-driven online platform that offers online architecture and design courses and workshops that are industry-specific. Now I invite Utsav Kamboj to talk about herself and her experience that students are so eagerly waiting for.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, you can share.
Please give me the permission to share the screen first.
Yes. Please raise the request.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. You have to go on the right arrow button next to share screen and allow participants to share their screen.
1 second, let me see.
Shruti, on your button, you'll have a icon called security. Please open that, click on that.
Yeah,
In that, you can remove the tick mark.
yeah, it's allowed actually.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah, now I can see. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, all right. Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you, Shruti, for such a wonderful introduction. I just wanted to quickly walk by what I'm doing. A lot of people confuse me with being a content creator. I'm not a content creator or influencer or whatever the Gen Z likes to call it these days. So I started taking my projects when I was in third year and I was working with my seniors. And basically, I started really early. I was always clear that I wanted to start my own practice. I came from a practice background. My father was an income tax advocate. He had his own practice. So it was sort of very clear to me that this is the way I want to be. And that is how I was very clear that I wanted to head that way. So I started very early. I started working with my seniors. Then during my internship, I was still doing projects. Then I did my master's, I was still doing projects. And then I actually started my practice like an independent business sort of a thing. And while I was doing projects independently, that was the first time I was doing independently. Before that, I was working with my seniors. It was a profit sharing kind of thing. When I actually started doing it myself independently and being a girl in this area of business, I went through a lot of challenges with client dealing, vendor dealing, site execution and stuff like that. And then I used to talk to other people that how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? It's like you look out to other people. And everybody just used to say, Ki, this is how it happens, chill, move on, like that. And my first few projects that I did, I think I did 8 projects for free and I did not like it. So everybody was just giving me the same answers that, you know, it happens everywhere, but don't make such a big deal out of it. Just move on, try this, try that, etc. So what I did was I started documenting all of these things, and more specifically, I started documenting my mistakes, what I was doing, and then what you could do instead. And that is how Archea began, and that is how my Instagram channel began, so that the problems that I am facing, the younger lot does not face those problems, because it just was very absurd to me that everyone is going through the same problem and nobody was doing anything about it. So back in 2018, I started Archea, which is an online education platform where the intention was to help architects and interior designers start and scale their own design practice. And we have grown a lot. I'm very happy to say this, that we have grown to a really huge community now. And right now at Archea, we have courses on home interior execution, business, designing in metaverse, sustainability, restaurant design, office design, flagship stores, parametric stores, and a lot more. So basically, the idea is that if, let's say, you get a particular kind of project, you don't know how to do it, you take a course, you complete it, you learn from it, and then you execute it the next way. You don't have to wait for a week or a month to be able to execute it. Okay. So before I begin with my webinar, I want to talk about some things that I think that are really crucial, because what I want to do through this webinar is, I want to broaden your horizons first. So please stay with me and please keep an open mind, because what I have seen happens with students is that the vision is like this. But after this webinar, I'm 100% sure that your vision is going to be like this. You'll be able to see the complete picture. All right. So I want to talk to you about some common myths that are there in students and what the hiring process is really all about. All right. So since all of you are architects, I'm going to talk in the same vocabulary. Any architecture firm that you apply in, all right, it has an umbrella. As a business, it has an umbrella, and it is generally divided into two segments. One is the management, operations, marketing part, where, you know, there is HR, there is accountant, there is IT person, there is client relationship manager, business development manager, client support manager, social media manager, third-party PR, third-party website people, and stuff like that. Then there is the design division that we are going to dive deep into. The design division has people like architects, interior designers, 3D visualizers, draftsmen, site managers, correct? These are the in-house people. Apart from that, the design division has third-party contractors, third-party vendors, third-party consultants, and then of course clients. So when I say third-party consultants, it means like a landscape consultant. Let's say if we have a project where we need a specialist for landscape design, we have a landscape consultant on board, which is a third-party person collaborating with us for just that project. All right. So when I talk about the design wing of an architecture firm, the 5 in-house departments are architects, interior designers, 3D visualizers, draftsmen, and site managers, correct? So now what I need you to understand is that you are applying in an architecture firm as an intern. You want to get under the architecture wing. The first thing I want you to understand is, why does any firm hire an intern? What do you think top 2 or 3 reasons could be that a firm is hiring an intern? Number one, they need workforce because there's a lot of work, they've got new projects and they need workforce. I just need you guys to just comment, why do you think that a firm hires interns? Will the students comment? Shruti, will the students comment?
Yeah, sometimes they do.
All right. Okay, fine. So let's just say, move on with one example, that they need help with workforce. So how the hierarchy works is that there is one principal designer who started the firm. Then there are senior architects and designers that are working just under the principal designer, right? Then there are junior architects and designers that are working just below the senior architects and designers. Then there are interns who are working just below the juniors. Correct. So the principal designer, senior designers, junior designers, interns, this is how usually the hierarchy is in any architecture firm whatsoever. Correct. So what will happen is that the principal is taking care of some aspects of the firm, for example, dealing with clients, design concepts, networking with people, growing the business and stuff like that. Okay. The main designer will work with their team, the seniors, the juniors, and interns, discuss ideas, discuss concepts, and create a general agenda that this is how we want to move forward. Create a tentative prospect, right? Then the seniors will further detail it out and then start working on it, and they will allot the same work to juniors and interns as well. Only the technicality of the work is divided between the juniors and the interns, right? That is how it generally happens. So when you're getting into internship, don't expect the office to give you drawings on the first day. That rarely happens. You will first probably just you'll be asked to go through the files, see how the system works and stuff like that. And that is actually a good idea, because your first month will be spent only on understanding how the office really functions. What are the systems in the office? How does the office make drawings? How does the office make 3Ds? How do they discuss designs? You'll also have to adapt to their layering system, which takes approximately a month to learn which layers and which styles do they use for what kind of drawings. I think we have 3 messages in chat, right?
Yes.
Okay. Help with drawings, yeah, okay. All right. So moving on to, I mean, this is the general agenda, why and how interns come into the picture, and you as an intern come into the picture. So while we move forward, I'm going to walk you through how you can pitch yourself as an ideal candidate while you are applying for internships or jobs for that matter in an architecture firm. Because internship is a lot more than what your portfolio looks like, what your resume looks like. We're going to talk about that, but it is also about your skills. And a person is hiring you because they want to make their jobs easier. They want someone else to share the load with them. That is a very big thing. And to be honest, I have been there on the applicant side and I have been there on the recruiter side. I'll tell you this very honestly, that it is equally hard for a recruiter to find the right candidate for their firm, because they are looking for just the right person, a person who knows softwares, but is not too much into softwares, a person who has basic knowledge of architecture and design, a person who is good as a person, motivated and fun to work with, a person who is ready to adapt, and a person who is a problem solver. These are the 5 things that any firm is looking for while hiring an intern or a junior architect. These are the 5 things. They know you don't have experience. They know that you will not know certain technicalities. They know all of that, but they just want to see if you are quick at adapting. That is the one thing that they want to be really sure. Second thing they want to be really sure is that you at least have basic knowledge, how drawings are made, how design is done. You at least have all the basic things in your head. And third, you should know basic softwares. That is the bare minimum. I mean, you don't need to learn advanced AutoCAD, but at least basic AutoCAD enough to make good quality drawings is enough. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is certain myths that I have come across while interacting with thousands of students that I do on a regular basis. So myth number 1 is that you have to put everything in your portfolio. And I just can't wrap my head around this, that out of all the 4 years of architecture that you have been through, you do not need to put every project in your portfolio, because they only care about the best work. If I'm looking at a portfolio, I only care about your best work. Okay, I don't care about your mediocre work or your sub-level work. No, I just want to see what are you really good at. All right. Number 2 is, okay, this happens everywhere. You do not need to apply everywhere. You have to first figure out what kind of projects you want to do, and what is your 5-year goal and 10-year goal, and then apply accordingly. We'll talk about that soon. But why I'm saying that is because not every firm is for you. Not all firms will get you where you want to go 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. And knowing where you want to go and choosing firms that are aligned with your goal are super important for you to fast forward your career in the industry. And the last one is, people are super professional and they don't show their personality. And I want to emphasize on this because any architecture firm is looking for human beings. They're not looking for robots. I need you to understand that. So if your email application is just too professional, it's hard to understand what kind of person you are. They will never get to know how awesome you are as a person. and they will never be intrigued to call you. It is more like a cold calling, cold conversation sort of a thing. So in this webinar, I'm going to walk you through all the important steps that, most students miss. And I really want you to, if you want to take screenshots, please be my guest. If you want to take notes, please be my guest. And if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat and I'll answer them in the very end. All right. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is, how do you identify what your skills and goals are? So why you need to identify what your skills and goals are is, first thing, that will be the first question you'll be asked in the interview. Okay. What are you good at? What are you not good at? Why did you choose architecture? What was your favorite project while you were studying architecture? Which architect are you most inspired by? Which kind of architecture do you want to do? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now or 10 years from now? What is your favorite design style? And then they will come to your portfolio and then they will ask you questions about your portfolio. So this is how it is. So if you do not have understanding of what you're good at, what you're not good at, you're going to blow your interview. All right. So first we're going to identify what your skills are. And for that, we need to do a basic retrospection. Okay. You have been in 2, 3, 4 years of architecture. You must have some favorite projects, the projects that you really love working on, and you wish that maybe I had 1 more month or 2 more months to work on this, it would have been great. You must have some favorite parts of the project. For example, you really loved the part where you were doing site analysis, you were going to the site and then you were making all those doodles and analyzing and all of that. Or you could have some favorite subjects which were not actually design studio. You could have some favorite topics that you want to work on. Like a lot of people are now working on content creation in architecture, social media in architecture, AI in architecture, metaverse in architecture. So there must be a topic that you're really, really intrigued by. And then there could be what kind of discussions are you intrigued by? What are your favorite architects and designers, and what inspires them out of their project? What inspires you out of their projects? What are your design styles? What are the kind of designs that you want to work on? And what kind of cities do you like? Because I think even now urban design studios are there in architecture, right, Shruti? Right? So you must have done one urban design studio by the time you are entering your internship. So understanding all of those things helps you understand what you are good at. All right. So first I need you to identify what your favorites are. And the next thing I need you to do is identify which projects did you really enjoy working on. All right. It could be an urban design project. It could be a residential architecture project. It could be a landscape architecture project. What project did you really enjoy working on? Okay. Which was the best experience for you, best design studio ever, right? Then in that project, which part was the most fun for you? It could be the designing part, it could be the concept part, it could be the presentation part, whatever it was, you have to understand which one was the best part for you. And then you have to figure out what is the one thing that you loved exploring that made you enjoy that project. It's not the entire project that we love the most, because what happens is sometimes we start with all energy because we are so much overwhelmed with design ideas. We are not able to sleep on those ideas and stuff like that. And by the time the jury date is coming closer, we end up doing a lot of shortcuts and we're not able to actually deliver those ideas on the sheets as it is. Okay. So first thing I needed to understand is which project did you really enjoy working on? Second, which part of the project did you enjoy working on? And what is the one thing that you absolutely loved that made you enjoy that project? And I'll give you my example here. Okay. So I enjoy doing projects that are both architecture and interior both. What I love most about this kind of work is that I'm able to design not just in the planning point of view, but in the volumes point of view as well. So if I'm doing residential architecture, I'm able to think more in the terms of volumes and what kind of experience the space is going to create. And I like to play with different kinds of heights and levels and stuff like that. So what I do is I love experimenting with volumes and materials. So what does that bring out of me? That I'm good at identifying and designing with volumes and materials. So what you loved doing in your project is directly proportional to what you are good at. You love doing something, you explored it more, that is how you became good at it. That is one simple answer to identify what you are good at, all right? Okay, and I need you to do this for at least 3 projects. And I know this sounds really simple, but I know for a fact that it makes a very big deal when you know that I'm good at this. And if I have been given this job, I know I can nail it. Or I can go and talk to my boss that, I'm really good at this, please give me a chance. But if you don't know what you're good at, how are you going to pursue? Correct? So I need you to do this for at least 3 projects. And that is when you'll be able to identify your top 3 skills, top 3 things you're good at, top 3 things you're not good at, top 3 projects that you want to work on. Once you have this clarity, what kind of projects you want to work on, it's going to be super easy for you to pursue those kind of offices, and it will give you a lot of clarity. Okay, this is where I want to be headed. This is where I want to go. These are the kind of projects I want to do. I can start working in these kind of offices, gain experience, and I can start targeting these kind of projects and start my own practice. It makes everything super easy. Otherwise, it's just a bubble that we are wrapped inside. Okay. Then the next thing is identifying your goals. Now, what is written on the screen may sound childish to you, but it has helped me a lot every step of the way. Because what happens is when we get started in the industry, we feel like, okay, we have some really big dreams. We want to make money. We want to support our family, and a lot of things are happening. But the moment there is a problem, the moment or the day you feel like you're not good enough, the day you feel like, I don't know anything, I'm not good enough, I don't know even this, I don't know even that, how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that? Sometimes we get so much overwhelmed because we see a colleague or a classmate doing very well and we're not doing very well. So on a bad day, reminding yourself why you're doing this really helps you get up again. And a bad day can come even when you're scolded in an office. You will be scolded in an office. And sometimes it can get very bad depending on what kind of culture the office has. But when you have clarity why you're doing this, why this is important to you, where do you want to go with this, what do you want to achieve out of this, you're able to pick yourself up and move forward again. And the whole thing is not so toxic anymore. All right. So the first thing I want you to understand is what was your life goal as a child and why? This is important because even though our life goal was different as a child, and our life goal right now is to become an architect and whatever your goal is, somehow that goal is still there in the back of your head, and somehow it will come back to you when you start practicing, when you start having, or you are working in an office as an employer, whatever you're doing, that goal will come back to you by the time you're 25. You'll feel like, yeah, I always wanted to do this, maybe I'll start something on the side. So understanding what your life goal always was. For example, you could do traveling. So if you want to do traveling and you are into architecture, what can you do to club these together? You have to understand this and then take action accordingly. So this is one thing. What was your life goal as a child or as a teenager and why? Second, when you joined college, what was your goal about becoming an architect? When you filled out that admission form, or when you decided that, okay, I want to become an architect, what was that goal? What did you want to do? That one thing, very vague idea that this is what I'll do after I become an architect. If you don't know, I mean, if you were not sure that what will I become after doing graduation. That's completely okay. Let's put a pin on that. And the third one is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I know 10-year goal is a little difficult, but at least set a 5-year goal for yourself that after I have graduated in the next 5 years, I want to be making this amount of money, doing this, going on a vacation with my family, doing this, doing that, whatever it is on your mind. You need to have a 5-year goal. That today is 2023. By 2030, let's say, I will have accomplished all these things. Okay. Because that is what drives you to move forward on the bad days. And the next thing is, where do you see yourself? You'll be asked this question in the interview as well. So here are a few options that, you can, look at. One is having your own firm. You can have your own firm, and by firm, I mean an architecture practice. You can probably start your own publishing platform. You can start your own e-learning platform. You can start your own metaverse. You can start taking metaverse projects. Option number 2 is working as an employee in an MNC or something. Third option is working as a consultant with a firm. Fourth option is working in a government organization. Fifth is teaching. Sixth is research and writing. So research and writing, again, you can work as an employee and you can have your own firm as well. Writers right now are making good 6-figure income every month. All right. So this is also something that you need to understand. Where do you see yourself in 5 years and what do you see yourself doing? The next thing that you need to understand is, where do you want to settle down? In your own city, in a metro city, in your country, overseas. These are also some things that you need to consider before you start to think about applying in offices. Because once you have clarity that where do you see yourself 5 years from now, what do you want to do, where do you want to live, you will apply to offices in that way only. So let's say, suppose I am going to apply in internships, okay, for internships. What I want to do is, my goal in life is to become, how do I put it right? Okay, my goal as a child was that I wanted to travel the world. All right. My goal when I joined the profession was that I wanted to become an architect, and I wanted to work. I wanted to be known in the heritage area of this country. I wanted to develop the cultural and heritage space in this country. And third, where I see myself 10 years from now, that I'm not going to tell you. Okay. Okay. So what I envisioned was that I will have my own firm. I was very clear with that. And the third thing that I decided, where do I want to settle down? Here. I love my country very much. I don't want to go out. I wanted to stay near my parents. So what I did internship in this area only. How it helped me? I got to understand how the market works here. I got to understand how clients think here. I got to understand how design works here. Different areas of the country have different kinds of design languages. What works in Delhi does not work in Mumbai, does not work in Hyderabad, does not work in Bangalore, and vice versa. All right. So that it was very clear to me, I'll work here. I'll understand how the market is here. I want to start my practice here. So I'll just do my internship here, and I applied in offices in this area only, and that too in small scale firms, not the bigger firms. Okay. So sorry. So why I did that? Because small scale offices help you get hands-on experience. You get to work on a lot of things. You get to deal with vendors. You get to sit in client meetings. You're not always working on drawings. You get hands-on experience on everything. And in approximately 3 to 4 years, you are confident and ready to start on your own. All right. And if you have other plans, let's say if you want to go into writing, if you want to go into government organizations, if you want to be an employee, then obviously you will have to choose that way. Okay. So I want to emphasize on this that your office hunting should be directly related to your 3 goals. It has to be directly related to your 3 goals. If I wanted to start my own practice and I just went and worked somewhere else, it would have not worked for me, because if I had worked in, let's say, an MNC, I would just be making drawings, bathroom drawings. How would it help me in my practice? It would not. In practice, you have to take care of a lot of things other than bathroom drawings, correct? So your office hunting has to be directly related to what you want to be, who you want to be in 5 years from now and 10 years from now. Next thing I would encourage you to do is create a list of offices. Go to these Instagram handles, ArcDigest, L-Decor, and all of these handles. Thoroughly look through the projects that they have posted. Stalk the page, literally be a stalker and stalk the page. Figure out the firms that you want to work in, and then you start applying to those firms. That is how you consciously approach firms in the right way. Okay. All right. Sorry. कुछ ज़्यादा ही कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई. Okay. So why I'm insisting on this is because this is like doing a project without design brief or framework. If you're applying just anywhere that you just, applying in all the offices that are there, and if you, God forbid, you get in an office that is not aligned with your goals, that is 1 year of your life wasted. Trust me. You will not like working there. You will not be able to make the most out of your experience out of there, and you will hate your life. It will be very toxic for you. So don't do a project without a design brief or framework. Be clear about what you want to do, where you want to go. You want to start your own practice. You want to be an employee. You want to do something else. And then you apply in offices according to that. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about. Okay, we've done this. We've also done this. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is what to include in a portfolio. First thing, never put your sheets as it is in your portfolio. I'll tell you what kind of impression it gives to the employer that this person is lazy. Never, ever put your sheets as it is. I know it is a bit of extra work, but that is what you want to show to the employer, that you're ready to take that extra step. You're ready to go out of your comfort zone. Okay. So what you have to include in your portfolio is all these things. Please take a screenshot of this one. So academic projects will be the projects that you've done in college. Choose only those projects that you are really proud to share and that represent the best of your skills. It just has to give the interviewer your best image about who you are as an architect, how you think, how you evolve, how you execute. All right. Then the next one is competition projects. If you have participated in any competitions as a team or as an individual, you should definitely mention that. Puts in a good word for you. It shows that you have been active and motivated other than your academic work. Even if you did not win that competition, that's fine. It still vouches for you in a lot of good ways. All right. So freelance projects is if you've done any kind of freelance work as a student, you can include that as well. There's definitely no problem. Detailed drawings is for any 3rd year or 4th year project. Just pick one project for which detailed drawings were important. Only if the detailed drawings were important, then you include the detailed drawings, and that too just the major details. Just don't include the entire sheet as it is. Just include the main details to let them know that, okay, you have the general idea of how detailed drawings are made. All right. Next is sketches. I would highly recommend this, that when you are talking about your project, don't just put a 3D view and then you put drawings and that's it. No, if you can sort of create a narrative or create a story that this was the initial sketch, then this was the design development, and then we came to this final design. It is going to help them understand how you think. And that is what they're looking for in an intern. Fresh ideas, fresh perspective, hard worker, thinking out of the box. Okay. So definitely use sketches or doodles to show the process of design development. And the next one is photographs, case studies, narratives. So I was really good with case studies and narratives, so I put that in my portfolio. If you're good with photography, case studies, narratives, whatever you're good at, put that in the portfolio as well in the end. So you have to make your portfolio in the descending order. The latest project will come first. If it's your thesis, if it's your urban project, if it's your interior project, whatever it is, it will come first. And only put your best work. All right. What not to include in the portfolio is more than one category of project. Let's say you've done 2 residential projects, choose just one, which is the best one. 2 projects that you have not done, and 3 too many renders. By projects you have not done, I mean that a lot of people use somebody else's projects as their own to fill out their portfolio. And 99% of the times, people know that you're lying. Okay. Because once you start working with them, within 1 week, they'll get to know that this is not your work and that is not going to make a good impression, and your opportunity could be in jeopardy, right? Third is too many renders. Any professional is hungry for details. Any architect is hungry for details, how design was thought of, how it was developed, and just putting the renders does not give that story. Okay. So first comes the sketches, design development, drawings, renders. That is how the story is built. If you put too many renders, you will look like a software ninja to them. And you don't want to look like a software ninja to them. Otherwise, you'll get only software work. You'll not get any kind of design work. Correct? All right. Now we're going to talk about how to present your work in your portfolio. And to make things interesting, I have sort of come up with a relatable topic. I want to talk about Netflix. Okay. I think everyone is into OTT now. There's not even a single person who's not watching Netflix, who's not doing binge watching at all. All right. So you'll be able to agree with me on these things. Just listen carefully. Okay. Every Netflix series has a story. There's no series without a story. Some series have really good stories. The direction is also very good, but some series have bad stories. They're not very engaging. The bad stories make you quit in the very first episode, but the good ones make you binge watch all night. You don't want to quit. Even if your eyes are burning, you have to wake up early in the morning. You cannot quit, right? You hang in there till the last episode of the last series, and it gives you nostalgia and you crave for more. Correct? The next thing is each series has a theme. No matter how many seasons, how many episodes that are there, the theme remains the same. If it is a comedy theme, the entire theme of the series will be comedy. If it is a dark theme, the entire theme of the series will be dark. The music will be like that. The shoot would be done in a very dark frame. Everything will be going on in the same series, in the same theme. The clothing will also be like that. Okay. The next thing is each series has a quality of content. So the series that don't have good content, they make us leave immediately. But the ones that have good content, this is what they have. They have a good story, they have good direction, they have good acting, they have context, and they have graphics. Correct? Any good series that you want to pick on Netflix has all these 5 factors. That is why the series is good. That is why it is trending. That is why there are so many memes coming up. Everybody's watching and talking about it. All right. So since I'm sure you agree with this, we are going to look at your portfolio just like Netflix. All right. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right. Sorry. I think something happened to my Zoom. Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're going to dig into detail for all of this in context of your portfolio. All right. We are going to think like Netflix. Okay. So when it comes to good content in a portfolio, there's a good story as in project brief. There is good direction as in design skills. There is good acting as in drawing skills. There is context as in details, and there is graphics as in graphical representation of your work. All right. We're going to dive deep into all these 5 aspects of your portfolio. Good story as in project brief. So project brief is basically 3 to 4 sentences write up explaining how you evolve the project. Write up is easy to read and quickly tells the reader what exactly is going on and what have you tried to accomplish in this project. You don't have to use very fancy words, sorry. You don't have to use very fancy words. I'm saying jargon, that's not right. Just be yourself, use simple English and explain how you evolved the design and what factors you took into consideration, what were the constraints, and if you were focusing on solving a problem, talk about that. It's as simple as that. So whenever you are introducing a project, just give a 3 to 4 line brief, giving them some idea that what they can expect out of this project. That is how they'll be able to understand what is going on in the project. The next thing is good direction as in design skills. I mean, of course, I don't need to tell you guys what good design skills are, but I do need to tell you how to show it in the best possible way. So where most students go wrong is they simply show their final designs in drawings and renders that I've talked about a couple of minutes back. And one of the most important things to show to any professional is the process. You must have had a lot of guest architects talking about doing presentations for you. They talked about their process. That is how you understood the final design. If they had just showed you the final render and the drawings, you'd be like, okay, what do I do about this? You want to know what was the process. You want to know how the design was evolved, what kind of techniques were used, what material were used, right? The same thing goes for a recruiter. They want to know how you evolved a design. So what you have to do is, instead of just putting your final design, show the process through sketches, doodles, photographs, write short captions below each of these sketches, doodles, or photographs, and then put your design, final design, in terms of plans, sections, and renders. Plans, sections, renders. You do not have to beautify your plans and sections. Maybe just a little bit, just to highlight on the design element, that's all. Okay. So basically you have to show conceptual sketches, then you have to show the design evolution, and then you have to show the final stage. Okay. Basically what we're trying to make the recruiter understand is how you think, analyze, evolve, and execute. All right. Now, the next thing is how good you are at communicating your work through Photoshop. Drawing skills. Drawing skills is where I need to tell you one thing, that professionals are not fond of rendered drawings. When you go into an office, you do not give rendered drawings at site. You give standard AutoCAD drawings on site. But in a firm, when we are presenting our designs to the clients, we do a little bit of rendering just to highlight the design elements. Let's say if you're focused a lot on bringing nature into the building, then you can use very light shade of greens to sort of focus on that design element. So whatever your primary design scheme was, you can focus on that using color. But apart from that, you don't need to have a red color on your walls. You don't need to have a blue color on your windows. You don't need to do that. If you still want to choose colors, choose pastel colors and keep the opacity to 50%, not more than that. Okay. Render your drawings only to show your design moves, so that the viewers' attention, whoever is looking at a portfolio, their attention directly goes to, okay, what is happening here? That's it. If you will render the entire drawing, they will be confused and they will just close the tab and they will not look at your portfolio further. Okay, so you have to make it soothing to their eyes and help them walk through your portfolio. The next is attention to detail. Just like context is important in any project, we are going to be giving context in our portfolio as well. Because as I said, professionals are hungry for details. If you show them your final design, they will want to know how the design is working out if you put humans into that space, correct? Which is also most important thing that we are trying to accomplish while we're designing anything. So they want to know the structural details as well. So attention to details are the most important thing when you're showing, especially your sections. That is the most important thing. Showing human silhouettes and showing your design details is the most important thing to make them understand how human interaction is going on in the space that you have designed for them. Okay. So pick 2 to 3 favorite parts of your project. Maybe let's say if you've given an OAT, or let's say that you have given a double height space, or you have tried to play with different kinds of levels, just pick 2 or 3 favorite parts that you feel that this is the best space. I would love to sit in a space like this, make sections out of it and just show those sections. That's all. Okay. This is how you sort of give them attention to detail. This also gives this impression to the employer that you are actually designing realistically, not hypothetically. And it is a big factor while recruiting any intern or any junior architect, that the person is able to think realistically. The next is graphics. So now we're going to talk about the graphical representation of the portfolio, right? So first question is, do you do a light theme or dark theme? Totally your call. Some people like to keep dark themes even on their laptops and phones. So that's your call. If you think that your projects can stand out better in a dark theme, go for it. If you think your projects can stand out better in the light theme, go for it. There is no problem in any of these, all right? But when it comes to deciding a layout for the portfolio, this is a very important thing that you need to consider. First of all, don't put your sheets as it is. You have to build a story. It has to look like a magazine or like a book that a person can scroll and see, and then they can star your email that, okay, I'm going to call this person for an interview. The third thing is your portfolio needs to reflect your personality. Do not try to copy paste by getting influenced by someone else. If somebody else is using a lot of graphics, you know, that we are all influenced by when we look on Pinterest. It looks nice, but if you look carefully, it doesn't tell you anything. And you don't want your employer to feel, I don't know what's going on here, right? You want them to see clearly. So your portfolio needs to reflect who you are. It needs to reflect your design skills. That's it. It does not have to be graphic. All right. My recommendation would be to check magazines. Buy any magazine or get any online magazine. See how they represent projects in their magazines. There's one page which is a full-size final photograph. There is a second page which has some details. There is text going on. So look at how they represent in the magazine and then take inspiration from that and then create layout for your portfolio, because all professionals are used to scrolling through magazines. So this is the simplest way to make them look at your portfolio and give you a call. And the last one is, when you finalize the layout, complete your work and create your render as per the theme. There has to be one theme to it, maximum of 2 themes, not more than that. And do not use bright colors. Do not use any graphic designs. Only your work has to show up. That's it. All right. Okay. This is a very important topic. I hope, Shruti, I hope everybody's not bored. I've been talking nonstop for like 40 minutes.
No, it's really interesting, and I'm also finding all the key notes and details what you have found it, and it's really important for the students to note down everything. So it's not boring. We can continue.
Not boring. Okay. Okay.
If you want, you can take a 5 minutes break if you are.
No, it's okay. I have to do talking all day today, so it's a
Oh.
good exercise.
Yeah.
So I'll just go back to this one first. I wanted to add one thing that when it comes to creating a theme for a portfolio, the theme does not specifically have to be that you are creating graphical representation. The theme could be using a color scheme as well. You can pick 3 to 4 color schemes and use that color scheme throughout the entire project. Okay, that is one way to do it. Second is text. Don't use more than 3 fonts and use simple fonts, simple, easy to read fonts. Arials is good, Times New Roman is good, Poppins is good, Montserrat Classic is good. These 4 fonts are easy to read in any kind of device. So if they are opening your portfolio on desktop, laptop, iPad, phone, whatever they're opening at, it will be easy to read. And make sure that you leave voids in your portfolio, that white empty spaces. Don't just pack it with everything. Okay, if 50-60% of the sheet is covered and the rest is empty, it's completely fine. That means that their eyes are directly going to go on your design detail and not on other things. Okay, so it's completely fine. Don't get hyped up on the empty spaces on your portfolio that we generally do on sheets. I know I have been there. Don't get hyped up on it. Just create a great narrative of your portfolio. That is the most important thing. They must want to swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe, and they must want to call you for the interview. That is the most important thing, right? Okay, so 10 reasons people don't get a call back. Here I'm talking about a few things that might be wrong with your resume, with your portfolio, and with your email application. All right. So pay attention and don't make this mistake. The first one is that your resume does not have any kind of responsibilities and accomplishments. If you have not taken any responsibilities as a student, you can at least mention 3 responsibilities that you can take care of if they choose to hire you. You have to mention that, because when they are looking for a candidate, they are looking for some set of responsibilities, that person needs to be quick at learning things, that person needs to be good at analyzing things, that person needs to be a problem solver. So whatever you feel like you can do this, at least you can mention them that I am good at these things. Okay. The next one is that your job application is not tailored. We'll talk about this in a couple of minutes. Third is you're not specific about your skills. I don't think this is going to be a problem for you because we have just talked about how to identify your skills and goals for 10-15 minutes. Fourth is your resume is too cluttered. Your resume needs to be 1-page format, not too graphic, not too much text. Everything should be in points, clear cut, and that's it. You don't need to mention your 10 standard. Absolutely not. Your graduation and your 12 standard is fine. And if you're applying as a junior architect, you don't need to mention your 12 standard as well, right? Just your graduation is fine. Okay. You do need to mention if you've done any competitions, if you've taken part in anything, you have to mention that. If you've worked somewhere, if you've done any freelance work, mention that. Number 5, we've talked about this. If your work does not show your personality, and if it looks like it has been too much inspired by Pinterest, there are good chances that you might not get a call back. And your resume and portfolio are extremely graphic. So the kind of portfolios that sometimes we receive is, it has a very fancy background. Sometimes it looks like a crushed piece of paper. Sometimes it looks like a handmade paper. Sometimes it has this newspaper clipping wala background. I cannot see your work if you're putting such kind of things. So once there was this person who had used neon green patch. I closed that portfolio immediately. I'm sorry, guys, but this happens. You cannot look at something like that. You have to use very subtle colors. You have to make it an architectural portfolio, not a graphic design portfolio. So if you maybe want to put something on the bottom of your sheet, you can do that. Keep it very clean, keep it very minimal. Don't put a lot of designs into that. The focus should be on your design, not on the graphic design of the portfolio, okay? The next one is your portfolio is too long. Like I said, you do not need to put all your projects. Second thing, you do not need to put all the details in your portfolio. So let's say you did a hospital project, okay? You do need to show the layouts, but there is a different way to show the layout, okay? I mean, you do not have to put one layout per sheet, right? You can show the layouts, you can show the scheme of things like this in different layers, and then you can show it with one big drawing and two smaller drawings like that, okay? If you will show, let's say you made 5 floor plans and you've put one drawing per sheet, that is 5 extra pages that they're scrolling through, and they're not going to do that. So don't make your portfolio too long, just put to the point information. If you still want them to see your, the entire project, what you can do is you can create a separate portfolio with all the details and you can provide a link for it. You can also mention in the email that this, if you want to look at any project in detail, here's the link, please have a look directly. But if your PDF is like 60 pages, it is going to overwhelm anyone. So don't make 60 pages, 20 to 30 is fine. They're only going to just scroll, like we scroll on Instagram. They're going to mindlessly scroll, fadafat, and then they're going to see, okay, I like this. They're going to look at the details and then they will forward it to their employer. It is finalized and then they will call you for the interview, okay? The next thing is you don't have any recommendations. Try to get recommendations. If you are in good terms with your visiting faculty, if you are in good terms with your faculty or anyone, ask them to vouch for you and mention that in your resume. So what happens is that right now you're going for an internship. You need someone who can vouch for you. When you go for a job, all right, they're going to ask your previous manager that how was this person on their job? Okay. So right now you need someone. If you have people who can vouch for you, go ahead. If you have not maintained good relations with your teachers, now is the time to do it. Okay. And the next one is you're focusing too much. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. The next one is you're focusing too much on being a professional instead of building a relationship. So the very formal emails that we get, dear sir, ma'am, I want to apply to your esteemed organization and all of that. It's my business, okay? It's not an esteemed organization. Yes, I'm doing good work. Yes, I'm providing value, but esteemed organization is a bit too far-fetched, all right? We don't need to use such fancy words. And when we are talking to the recruiter on the phone and in front of them, right? We have to show us that, this is who I really am. If you show too much professionalism, they're going to think that you're fake. You don't want them to feel that you're a fake, right? Nobody can understand and look through you if you act very professional. You have to talk about what you like, what you don't like, what your skills are, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Why do you want to work in the firm? What inspired you to apply in this firm? You have to go through their projects thoroughly before you are going for an interview. You have to have a look at their project before you actually apply in the email. You have to look at all of those things, and you have to act like it is a dialogue happening between you and the firm, and it is not like, like they are doing some sort of favor by hiring you. It is a business transaction. You are getting experience, they are getting work out of you. The next one is that you don't have a work profile. I highly recommend everyone to have LinkedIn profile. Definitely put your work there, put your dissertations there, put your write-ups there, everything there, and attach that LinkedIn profile so that at least they can see what your thoughts are and how you think, what kind of things you'd like, if you're the right person for the job or not. Okay, this is super important, and I'll tell you why. When the internship phase comes, every college student is applying. Okay, every firm is getting tons of applications every day through emails, correct? How are you going to stand out? Out of at least 20 emails that just came to me today, one of those emails is yours. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to make me open your email first? This is what we're going to talk about. So these are some applications that we get, and I want you to read through it once. The first thing that is wrong with this email application is that it is a forwarded mail. All right. This person has mentioned "Dear Sir" to me. This person does not know if I'm a sir or if I'm a ma'am, right? This person has not mentioned anything in their email body. 3 years experience in interior design firm, blah, 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 not even mentioned their name, and they've just mentioned the projects as it is attached randomly files. Okay. The next is again this is for internship. Student of architecture, 4th year completed, searching for internship, delighted if you offer me an opportunity to work with you. Why would I give you an internship opportunity like this when you don't tell me why I should hire you? You have to tell me why I should hire you. I have just 1 minute to look at one email. If in that one email, you don't tell me why I should hire you or how you can relate to me, why am I going to even look at the profile? I'm not going to look at the profile. Next, this one, this is still a little better. Applying for the post of junior interior designer architect. This person has written, mentioned a lot of things about what they've done, but they have not tried to build a relationship with me to intrigue me to call them. Okay, so this is architecture is all about building businesses, whether you're working with your employer or whether you're working with your client. It is all about building relationship. That's it. So now I want to show you this application that was for from a writer of mine who's still working with me. She is directly talking to me. She's directly mentioned what she's done. She's also mentioned what kind of work she's pursued, what is her strength. She mentioned all of that and what kind of projects that she has done in the past. She has also mentioned that. It is a bit long. I don't want you to write such long emails, but this is tentatively what I want you to do. Please take a screenshot of this. The first thing that you do is, hello, whatever the name of the person is. If you have been following their work for at least a month or whatever, you can mention that I have been following your work for so and so time, and I love how you do this. You can talk about one of their projects that you really loved, or you can also talk about that I came across your project through a friend and I really loved this project of yours. Okay. I really loved how you worked on this design detail and it really inspired me. You can write something like this and give a really interactive introduction. Now you're talking to them. Now you're not saying, I am from this college, please hire me. Now you're saying that I have seen your work. I like this project of yours and this is what I like about you. And now the recruiter is interested. Okay, this person knows my work. Okay, now let me see what this person does. Next, you talk about what your skills and goals are, how you can talk, how you can provide value to them. where you're from, which student you are, and then you give them a call to action. I would love to be part of your team and learn. Here you have to mention what the firm excels in. Okay. And then I have attached my resume and sample portfolio for you to have a look at. Please click here for my main portfolio. So the difference between sample portfolio and main portfolio is that sample portfolio is usually 10, 12 pages, where you have just mentioned probably your top 3 projects. If the person likes your sample portfolio, they can look at your main portfolio by clicking on the link. You can upload your portfolio on Behance, Issue, or wherever you like, okay? So this is also a great way for them to just see your top 3 projects. If they want to know about it in detail, then they can look at your main portfolio. And this is how you build a relationship with a potential employer. Okay, this is how you make them see you. All right. Now, you will end it with an exciting note. Really looking forward to hearing from you, excited to work as a part of your team, excited to add value to your team and stuff like that. You have to give them a reason why they should hire you. The number one reason you gave them is that you know about their work and you appreciated them for it. Number 2 reason is that you are aware of your skills and goals and you're telling them how you can provide value to them. All right, this is enough. They know you're an intern, they know this is the most you can do, that's fine with them. Then you specifically mention your name, full name, number, email, and your LinkedIn profile. All right. This is how an email body should look like when you're applying for internship, when you're applying for job, as a junior architect, as a senior architect, whatever you're doing. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is subject line, because before they actually open your email, they're going to see your subject line. And out of those 20 emails, your subject line is going to pop up in their eyes and they're going to open that. So how do you write a good subject line? So out of those 3 emails that I showed you, these were the subject lines, right? Forward resume, forward portfolio and CV, applying for the post of junior interior designer or architect. This third one is still better. It still gives me clarity that this person is applying for this position. Okay, let me look at this. All right. But a better way to do this is like this. Let's say if you're applying in a sustainable architecture firm and you're interested in working in sustainability, this is what you could write. So basically what you're doing is you're describing your skill and you're describing their USP. Understood? So instead of simply writing, applying for the post of junior interior designer or architect, blah, 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 you specifically mention that this is what I do, this is what you do, let's catch up. This is how you write a subject line. Please take screenshot of this. And I hope you've taken screenshot of that email body as well. है ना? श्रुति ले लिया अब तक सबने? ठीक है, cool.
Yeah.
So this is how you write an subject line. So out of 20 emails, they first open yours. So basically the entire recruitment process starts from a subject line to the email body, to your portfolio, to a telephonic interview, to an in-person interview, to getting a job. There are 6 layers to it. So you have to make sure that you do the right things and you'll get hired. All right. Okay, so I'm open to questions. If anybody has any doubts or anything regarding internships or how to finalize an office, how to look for an office, please reach out. And if after this session, you want to reach out to me, you have some questions, you need some guidance, you can reach out to me on this email ID. This is my personal email ID, so I'll be reverting directly to you guys. All right. Okay.
Yes, so there is one question from the Jagruti. She
Yeah.
said, hello, ma'am. How do we decide and add the practical training works in short in our portfolio while applying for a junior architect position?
Mm,
You can see in
okay.
the chat box.
Yeah, I'm opening it right now. Practical training work in short in our portfolio. Very good question. So when you are applying as a junior architect, Your portfolio needs to have your practical training only and your thesis. That's all. All right. And you can show what basically a tentative overall design that was being built. And you can also show what you worked on. You cannot show anything else. You can only show what you worked on, because all other things were being worked on by somebody else, right? So you can show the tentative design that was worked on, and then I took care of all of these aspects of it. That is what you want to talk about to your future employer, that in my internship, I took care of all of these aspects. Any other questions?
Yes, yes, students, you have any questions, please ask, unmute yourself or on the video, or else you can ask in the chat box. I'll read it out.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yeah.
Yes, myself Nimtesh Chaturvedi.
Hmm.
So my question is, how can we manage to like balance our artistic vision in our portfolio to match the client's requirement? And yes, ma'am.
Client's requirement.
Yeah. How can we balance their practical requirements and our own vision in our portfolios?
I didn't understand your question. If you're creating a portfolio for a sorry, client, then it
Yes.
has to be your artistic vision. It has to be your artistic vision. Practical things will come on later. First, they have to trust you on your artistic vision only, that you can create some really groundbreaking designs. So it has to be your artistic vision. Practical things come on later, when you're actually going to design and when you're actually going to build them on site. But as far as it is on the portfolio, you need to show what is possible and what you can do.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, anyone?
Nice.
They're asking questions somewhere else, not here on the platform.
Acha.
See, Utsav, how it is, already the 9th semester students, they are in the practical training. They have gone through all of this process, but they found a lot of difficulties in this. Yeah, there's one more question from her.
Hi, Kamsha.
Yeah, Kansha,
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, actually, I'm an assistant professor here. So I
Hanji.
just wanted to ask something on behalf of students. Sometimes when students apply for internship, they're not very clear on, what they want to do after architecture. There's something they're still trying to figure out, that, how they want to go further about it. Do they want to pursue masters after this, or they want to work professionally? So when they apply for internship, they don't actually know how to narrow down those, particular offices, or, how should they narrow down those particular offices which might benefit them, or which will show them, what they are actually interested in doing after architecture. So any piece of advice for them?
Definitely. So for people who are not sure if they want to do masters or not, the best way to do is first figure out what you want to do masters in. Okay. If you still don't know what you want to do masters in, you want try going in the office that are working on the kind of projects that you liked working on. Let's say if you really liked working on urban design projects, go into offices that are working on urban design projects. All right. Work hands-on on projects in the office, and then you can decide do you want to do masters or not. Directly doing masters after bachelor's is a good idea when you are clear that you want to do it. If you're not sure that you want to do it or you don't want to do it, then just go for the job opportunity, explore, and then decide if you want to do it or not. Plus, I know a lot of people are doing masters nowadays. It is not necessary. We're not doctors. We do not have to do masters. It is completely our choice. If you want to specialize in a particular thing, then we can do it. I have a master's in urban design. I'm still not working on even a single urban design project. I'm working on architecture and interior design projects. right? I've still not cracked one over design project yet. All right. So for people who have no clarity, if they want to do masters or not, get a job, work on the job, and then decide. That is the best way to decide. If you do not have clarity of what you want to do at all, that if you want to work as an architect or not, or if you want to do something else, then I think I would take a step back. If I were in your shoes, I would probably take a month. I would take a step back and sort of look at options, talk to different people who are in different fields, understand what excites me, and then pursue it. Research on LinkedIn, look for people in different fields, shoot them an email and talk about, that I am looking to understand how this field works. Could you just give me 15 minutes of your time so we can talk and discuss and stuff like that? Take their feedback, and then whatever field that excites you, you can get into that. But it's okay if you feel like you're not sure if you want to, where do you want to go after becoming an architect, or if you don't want to work as an architect at all. Ratan Tata is not an architect. He's doing brilliant work. He's doing everything great except for architecture. There's nothing wrong with it. He's changing people's lives in so many levels. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But to have clarity, one, you need to get hands on the job. If you can't do that, you need to make some calls. These are the best two ways to understand how to move forward. All right.
Thank you
Or
so
you can
much, ma'am.
reflect back into your college time and see what you really liked working on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, there's one
No
more question
problem.
from the Jagruti saying that what are the current technical skills that has more place and demand in the market?
Software ninja vanna sabko. Okay. Basic AutoCAD, SketchUp, Photoshop. That's it. You need to know the basics. Nobody's asking you to learn Rhino. If you want to get into the advanced levels, you can learn Revit, you can learn BIM. BIM can give you the opportunity to work in MNCs, to work in international companies, to work overseas. So that is also a good idea. You can also work in government organizations if you learn BIM, because even government is also promoting BIM in all the public sector projects. Yeah.
Yeah, on behalf of some other students, they are also asking that what is the future in architecture?
How do I tell you what is the future in architecture?
Your point of view, there's no
My
problem.
point of view, okay.
Yeah.
Technology is going to make a lot of changes in the architecture field. I think architecture will not be as we know it. It will be very different. 3D printing is already making its way in India. Temples are being built using 3D printers, right? And I think I would recommend this to anyone, that the faster you adapt technology in architecture, the easier it is going to be to find opportunities. For example, let's talk about metaverse, okay? Metaverse is just 1 year old, right? Right now, an architect in metaverse is making on an average $80,000 a year. So what you're doing is, you're not working in the real world. You do not have to work with contractors. You do not have to make tedious drawings. You do not have to think where the pipes will go. If there will be a leakage, you have to do waterproofing or whatever. But there's a lot of beautiful design dialogue happening in the virtual world, right? So that is something, if you guys are interested in designing and you are good in the tech space, go for it. Go for it. I mean, seriously, this is a great time for you guys to make the most out of it, because the demand is a lot and the designers are really this much. There are mostly coders in this, so there is no aesthetic value in that. Okay, so who will bring the static value? Designers will bring the static value. So it is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to get into metaverse now. So basically, an architect in the metaverse is called a virtual space designer, just so everyone doesn't get confused.
Yes, so we can go through the chat box. There are a lot of pop-ups coming up. See, how there's one question, how to approach for career in architectural journalism from the Preeti. And yeah, there's one more question, that is, how is
Heritage.
the scope of architecture in the heritage part?
I think in terms of heritage, architecture is going to boom because the government is also looking at a lot of, to bring a lot of tourism, to bring a lot of investments in the country. So tourism and heritage is definitely going to boom in the next few years. As far as architectural journalism is concerned, one is architecture journalism and one is content creation. These are two very different things. Okay. What I do is content creation, not architecture journalism. Architecture journalism is basically when you talk about projects with your perspective and you sort of try to build a narrative out of it. It is like a typical journalism where you're talking about the news, that this new project has come up, this new project has come up, what is happening, what is not happening, and you give your point of view on it. What I'm doing is content creation where I'm talking about the practical stuff. I'm giving my perspective and I'm giving off my experience to people that this is how you do this. That is not architecture journalism, that is content creation and education. Okay. If you want to go into architectural journalism, one thing I would do is take a course. I think I forgot her name. Apurva is there. She is doing a great job. She has, I think, 6 weeks ka batch for architecture journalism. You can take her course, you can take Tanya Khanna's course, learn how content is built, learn how writing is done, and then you can pursue firms, you can pursue publishing channels, you can pursue people like us who have online platforms, and you can basically research and write for people. Or you can start working as a consultant. Instead of being an employee to them, you can start working as a consultant and write for them. So when it comes to writing, it comes in the form of, you could write books, that is obvious. You could write articles, you could do criticism, you could give critiques, jaise movie critics hote hain, the same way, critics of a building. You could do online documentation on YouTube, you could do online documentation on website. You could write blogs and articles for someone else. You could write Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts for someone else. You could do anything under the sun in architecture journalism. But first you have to understand, you want to go into architectural journalism or into writing like I do. There's a lot of the major difference is, how would I put it? The perspective, how you're going to say things. That is the major difference in both the things. So even firms are these days hiring architectural writers to write, document the entire project for them in written words, to give out to magazines, for their websites, to help in SEOs, for their Instagram and stuff like that. So everybody is doing that now. So architecture journalism has a good scope. I told you 6 figures is on an average that architecture writers are making. And this I'm telling you for approximately, I think, a 5-year experienced architectural writer. Okay. And photographers are also making roughly like this only. You could also start your own, YouTube channel. That will also work. I mean, you're a student right now. If you start now, by the time you graduate, you probably have 100,000 followers already, and you can make a income out of it without doing any job. There are very less YouTubers in the architecture space, so that is a good idea.
So there's a really scope on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's question that what is the risk that comes with starting your own firm when you are new to the industry? She's basically asking the risk.
Mental health.
Yeah, peace.
mental peace is gone. I've talked about this in my business course also, that most of the time since you started working, you saved some money from your job. You've not started with any investment. You've some money saved from your job, and you're trying to stay home to save more money. You're trying not to go to office to limit your travel so that you can save money right now, so that you can take care of your own expenses. And what it does is that it makes things miserable for you, because any person who is sitting at home, parents make it difficult for you to stay at home. They think that you are villa, and then they will give you household work. Then you will not be able to do your own work. This is the most miserable situation anyone can be ever in. My advice would be, do your job, save money, have at least 3 lakh rupees with you saved before you start your own firm. Go set up an office space in a co-working, 5,000 rupees per month for one seat. Go there, sit there, create your hypothetical portfolio, create a networking plan that this week I'm going to meet these 2 people, this week I'm going to meet those 2 people. Your hypothetical portfolio should have 3 projects. Let's say you want to start with residential projects, then 1 luxury, 1 medium, and 1 low key. 3 projects. Start networking with people, go out there, talk to people, use that 3 lakh rupees money to get a project and just get started. And the worst thing that will happen to you is that you will be ridiculed a lot. People will ask you to work for free, and you will feel like you're not good enough. You'll feel like maybe you're in the wrong field, you should not be doing architecture at all. And it's okay to feel like that. I mean, things work out eventually. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
There's one
But
more.
you have to have finances in place. Nothing works out without having a financial backup ever in your life. If you start getting good income out of your practice, you're making, let's say, 60, 70 lakh rupees, you need to have some backup in your hand. Don't think ki right now 60, 70 lakh rupees is coming, so next year it will also come. No, that is not how business happens. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, one student, Tejaswini. Can you
Mhm.
unmute yourself? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Firstly, I would like to say that the presentation is really good. It was pretty clear. Whatever thoughts that we had and how to put it out there, you made it pretty clear for us. So, in the beginning of the presentation, you were talking about travel and architecture. So, I'm a travel enthusiast, and I was seeing if there are any opportunities where we can collab, where I can travel and do architecture also, and what kind of CV I have to do, and as a junior architect, would I be able to like get a job in that platform?
Which year are you in?
I'm in 4th year, but yeah, that is something that I would like to do.
First of all, you'll need to get a remote job,
Okay.
which is not hard now, thanks to COVID. Second, since you like to travel, you start documenting that. You go there. If you want to document architectural places, do that. If you want to document the experiences in general, do that. But start doing that right now, this year.
Okay.
And start your internship on the side, do your internship on the side. A lot of people do that. They're traveling and then they're freelancing. A lot of people do that. Start documenting your traveling, build an audience. Okay. In 2 to 3 years, you would have built a good audience. You'll make money out of it, and then you can leave this ad completely. You cannot sail in both the boats. You cannot do that. You have to choose one boat which is giving you more fulfillment and more money. You have to choose that. So this is like you get started with it, and then you take this forward, and then you build an audience over here on social channels. And once the audience is built and you're able to monetize it, and you're able to take care of your own finances, and you're happy, go for it. Then you don't need to do a job.
Yeah.
No? Or if you still want to be connected to architecture, then you can obviously talk about architecture. If you're, let's say you're traveling to Mumbai, you can you document the buildings over there and talk about their architecture. So it can be architecture and travel both.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes, it was a really great and a very in detailed presentation. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Utsav, for sharing
you,
details on
Shruti.
what happens on background during the internship. That is all the myths, identifying goals, that is short term and long terms, to what to be added and not to be added in the portfolio and so on, what all not. So it's a complete package in a very systematic way, which is starting from grassroots level to the end, to the top end. Yeah. So thank you very much. And also sharing all this personal experience, which simplifies in the students in a very amazing, very amazing explanation in depth from your end. Yeah, and
No
I hope
problem.
students received these minute details from you. Thank you, Utsav.
Thank you so
And-
much for having me, Shruti. Thank you.
Yeah, moving forward, I'll ask Director Sir for the vote of thanks.
That's
Thank you.
completely all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Utsav, for a wonderful presentation and a lot of patience to answer all the students' queries.
No
And,
problem.
yeah,
Thank you for having me on in the session.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm very surprised. Many of the students spoke to you enthusiastically. So I think they got connected to you. Maybe they will bother you. Please help them and guide them.
No
Thank you.
problem at all. No problem.
Yeah,
All right.
bother you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, Shruti, for this beautiful opportunity. I'll be signing off now. I have a meeting to take in
Yeah,
approximately 15 minutes.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Utsav.
Thank you.
Yes, now the webinar is now come to an end. On behalf of everyone, I really heartfully thank you to everyone for actively participating. Yes, this is me, Shruti, for the host for the day. Thank you. Signing off. Be safe.